Most players hear the phrase, play the chord changes, and immediately think, find the right scale for each chord. That instinct is not wrong. It just starts in the wrong place. I saw this very clearly at Berklee College of Music. In one of my guitar lab class, we were playing softly as in a morning sunrise. Students were taking turns soloing, going around the room one by one. After everyone had played, my professor stopped. He looked at me and said, "You are not playing from a key center. You are actually trying to play the chord changes. I like it. That's it." That one sentence stayed with me, not because it was a compliment, but because it revealed exactly what most players in that room were doing differently without even knowing it. They were playing from a key center, the scales. I was playing the changes, and the difference was not about knowing more scales. It was about where I started. Hey, my name is Junwon Choi. If you already know me, thank you, genuinely. And if you do not know me yet, that is completely fine. We are just getting started. About me, I grew up in South Korea. Jazz was not around me. No culture, no scene, no one playing this music in my neighborhood. Everything I know about jazz I learned at Berklee College of Music from my mentor, Richie Hart. I came to this music as a total outsider. And honestly, I think that outsider's perspective is exactly why I can teach it the way I do. Because I had to understand why everything worked, not just that it worked. Nothing was handed to me. I had to find the logic myself. And that journey, that outsider's path into jazz, is what I want to share with you on this channel. So, chord changes and scales. The first thing that comes to mind is a 2-5-1 chord progression and the major scale. And I think there is actually only one way to play the major scales over a 2-5-1 chord progression and have it sound like the chord changes are moving like this. So we are in the C major scale. If we play this major scale from fourth degree ended with this third over the scale, this is to me only way playing the scale in this 2-5-1 chord progression. But we need to look at why it is that, why that works. First, we need to know the share voicing. So the chord progression in share voicing is the first step. And if we know the share voicing, there is another step we need to take. Get rid of the root as quickly as possible. That will show you what is hidden in the chord changes. Let me show you. So D minor 7, G7, C major 7. You can just practice it with the finger on the root and just play the guide tone. You can just do that in the beginning. But eventually, you need to get rid of this root on the finger. You don't even need to touch it. This is your D minor 7. This is your G7. And this is your C major 7 without root. Then just look closely what these two notes are doing. When the chord changes, just only one note, not even two notes is moving. Only one note moving. How far it moves? Just half step, and then another half step for the one chord. So when you remove the root, something appears on the fretboard that was invisible before. Just one note moving at a time from one chord to the next. And that is only a half step, not even a whole step in major scale. That is the voice leading, the inner motion that is actually driving the chord progression. You know, when you look at a finished piece of knitting, a sweater or something large, the carpet or the rug, anything, the complex, right? It is complicated piece. And if you try to analyze it, you see everything at once. Every thread, every color, every pattern. So it feels like you need to understand all of it before you can begin to make it. A masterpiece jazz solo looks exactly the same. You transcribe it and put it on the paper, and you see every scale tone, every crazy accidentals. You don't even think about notes they played it, but they plays good. So those scales, you name it, Dorian, Mixolydian flat 9, flat 13, altered scale and diminished, half whole, whole half diminished, whole tone scale, anything, everything. So it looks like the scales are the starting point, like you need all of that from the beginning. But that is an illusion, because no matter how large or complex the knit is, it always starts from just two needles with two strings. What you are looking at right now, this one note moving at a time, this voice leading, that is your two needles. That is where chord changes actually begins. Not the scale, not the mode, this inner voice right here on the fretboard. And that is exactly where jazz guitar education went wrong. Teachers looked at the finished solos, Wes Montgomery, Charlie Parker, Django Line, George Benson, Kenny Burrell, Pan Martino. So all those scale notes and built entire system around them. Then handed those system scales to students and said, start here. You need to memorize all of it to talk about the solo, the improvisation. But the masters never started there. They started from this, from the voice leading to needles. Now, take that scale line from before and play it over this voice leading. So the scale line was and then voice leading was right. Play it with the scale line would sound like the so the voice leading the scale starts from the upper octave, then the chords, the voicing, the third. So it starts from the octave higher, the third, then the guide tone. So it sounds like, and then it comes down to the register of the voice leading notes, the guide tone. So hear that? That is why it works. The scale was never the point. It was following the voice leading the whole time. That alignment, scale moving with the inner voice is what makes the chord changing audible. So now we have our two needles. The question is, how do we knit? How do we connect them and make infinite like number of lines? How we can make it just with two needles, just two notes? What we want right now is to that the voice leading sound to keep happening through the line. No matter what happens, what infinite number of things we do it, keep that voice leading happen every single time when the one is approaching. When the one of the beat, the first measure of the beat, we need to make that voice leading. That is the key. And here is the liberating part. It does not matter which octave you play those voice leading tones in. The function stays the same. So the line can travel in any direction, any register. So once we have that voice leading, it does not matter which direction we go, which octave you play, just make the sounds in anywhere, everywhere you go. So 2, 5, 1. And when you vary the rhythm, the possibilities multiply even further. Same notes, different rhythmic placement, completely different musical statement. Look. So, how do you stitch all of this together in a real jazz line? That is where Charlie Parker's upper structure concept comes in. Parker understood that the voice leading tones were the framework, and that you could build upward from them, stacking color and tension on top without losing the harmonic direction. That was the bebop breakthrough. And then Wes Montgomery took that concept and completed it on the guitar fretboard. He found the two diagonal structures that make an upper structure thinking natural on guitar. The two structures that let the line travel across the whole neck while keeping the voice leading intact. Those two structures are the Wes Line and the Django Line. Here is what they are. The Wes Line starts from a minor seventh chord, the shell voicing with the root on the fifth string. When you remove the root, what remains points you to a major seventh chord built a minor third above. Let me show you what I mean. So Wes Line is the minor seventh chord, the roots on the fifth string. So for example, this D minor 7 that we just played, get rid of the root, and on top of this guide tone, we have, I'm playing over here, tension 9 over the D, and then fifth over the D, the root chord. But so if I play with the root with this voicing, this is D minor 7 with tension 9. But because I don't play the root, this becomes F major 7. But look at, this is just the structure on the chord. I'm not playing this structure. The lines on the guitar, it make more playable on the guitar, is this F major triad. And then we go over here. Most other, except Wes, most of the guitar players go this shape over here. But Wes played over here. So this is Wes Line. And there is another line, it called the Django Line. Starts from the same upper structure idea, but from a shell voicing, the minor seventh shell voicing with the root on the sixth string. The upper structure chord appears in a different inversion, a different diagonal angle. So look at this. So D minor 7 over here, root on the sixth string. If we play this two up to this note, this is the fifth of the D minor 7. So this is not just the D minor 7 shell voicing, this is full D minor 7 voicing, and the tension 9 is over here. So this is a D minor 7 with the tension 9. But get rid of this root, and what it remains on top of it is F major 7. And the gypsy guitarist, the Django Line Hart, he played based off of this chord. He plays major 7 arpeggio with just 2 fingers. this structure. That is a Django line. And here is the key relationship between them on the 251 chord progression, because we are still talking about the 251 progression. We get out of some information from shared voicing and make an infinite idea of soloing, right? So through the 2 and the 5 chord, which is the non-tonic function chords, you stay in one line. When you resolve to the 1 chord, then that the function is the tonic chord, then you switch to the other line. So non-tonic in one line, tonic resolution in the other line. That flip is what carries the line across the neck and makes the chord change length. Piano players have known this for decades. They call it the A form and the B form shared voicing. Bill Evans built his entire harmonic language around it. On guitar, the Wes Line and the Django lines are exactly that, just spoken in the guitar's own diagonal language. This is not a trick. This is the fretboard map, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So we start from this 2 chord and the 5 chord in one line idea. So this is Django line, and then no, this is Wes line because over here, and then 5 chord also included in the Wes line. But remember, I said we have to make this voice leading sounds no matter what. So still stays in the same line, but have to make this voice leading sound. That gives us 2 going to the 5, right? And then when it reaches over to the 1 chord, this becomes a Django line. So the Django line C major 7 is over here, and then down over here is the C major 7 shared voicing, which we played over here. We will play over here in the non-tonic function, the same line. This is our G7, and then stays in the same Django line, and then resolve to the Wes line. So the line, the infinite idea from what I got from the shared voicing sound like this. If this way of thinking is new to you, good. That means you are starting from the right place. On my website, voiceleadjazzguitar.com, I have 2 hours of free lessons called Essential Building Blocks. I will put the link below. It covers everything you need to see this on the fretboard. Share voicing, voice leading, the Wes Line, Django Line, drop 2 voicings, diagonal scale patterns, fingerings, all organized step by steps with a free 28 pages of PDF. You can download it. Just register for a free account and it is all yours. Once you finish that, or not even finish it, you can take the scorecard. I will look at where you are and guide you to the exact next step that fits you. And if you want to see how all of these lives inside we are playing, not theory, but actual lines on actual tunes, that is what Wes's Insight is for. I transcribed one course each of Wes Montgomery's on Fly Me to the Moon, All the Things You Are, and Autumn Leaves. You will see exactly how he moved through the chord changes with the Wes Line and the Django Line, including an unreleased recording of Autumn Leaves that you will not find anywhere else. I transcribed just one course of that tune. If this video helped you, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Find your friends and leave a comment down below. I read them and your question might become the next episode. Until I see you next time, keep swinging.